And I'm e-learning, and I'm e-learning, e-learning, and I'm e-learning. Okay, so I have with me here Jessica Ramirez. And Jessica, what is your title?
I am the Student Engagement Specialist and the Study Abroad Coordinator.
That is a fancy title.
It's a mouthful.
You guys, basically your idea, I think, hosted recently Late Night at the library here in
Yes.
Kirk Library. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about it? Like, what was the reason behind it?
What inspired me?
Yes.
So I am an alum from here, so I was thinking of my time with my friends and how we would study, and we didn't have anywhere to go in Lewis County. Like, everything was closed by like 9 or 10.
Right.
And realistically, students aren't done by 9 or 10. That's usually what 10 they're started. And so then, being a recent grad and having the privilege of being at a university that's open till midnight, I was like, why can't we do that here? So I just was like, oh, I'm just going to walk over and talk to Sue and see what she thinks. And Sue was like, love the idea. And she's just like, let's just do it this quarter. Why wait till later in the spring? And I was like, all right. And so I told the students about it, and they seemed for it. And so we decided that we would provide brain foods that help you while you're studying to keep your mind active.
And you did research,
I
right?
did do research.
On the kinds of foods that would be good, because at first it was kind of seeming like, well, yeah, let's just do, I think people asked, well, are you going to have pizza? And there was even talk of like baked goods and that kind of a thing,
Yeah,
right?
but those are not good for you, and they get you tired and you don't have as much energy. So I researched, and strawberries, blueberries, walnuts, almonds, hummus, and crunchy vegetables are things that keep you awake, and then tea with honey. So I bought a whole bunch of those and got a variety of them, and people really enjoyed them. Although they were like, where's the pizza? I was like, no, I'm really trying to make your brain get for these finals. So
Okay.
it was really funny.
Trying to actually help them learn for their finals,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, not just to cram it all in, but to be able to obtain the information that they're learning.
Well, and the timing of this was actually pretty great, too, right? Because it wasn't the week of finals, it was the week before finals when, students still had time to retain the information rather than just trying to cram everything in, right?
Yeah, and then a lot of the students had their bigger projects due during that week, so that they were all really needing that time to do those things.
So, can you tell me a little bit about how it went and what kind of things happened and just people's response to it?
I was really pleasantly surprised, since this was like a pilot. I the little guinea pig, but there was 30 students here when I got here around 8 o'clock, and it was pretty steady, and we still had about 20 around 11, and we actually had to kick about 4 students out at midnight and say, hey, it's time for us to close. So it was really cool. There was familiar faces, and I was able to help a student with their English 102 paper, because they had come to me before and were like, hey, do you know some resources for this? And I was like, yeah. She's like, can you look over my paper? I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to do that. And I was able to help someone else with their speech, their introduction, just because I'm a communications major. I could say I like speeches. So I was able to help with that, and it was really cool to walk around and just check in with students and be like, hey, there's food, make sure you get some, and it's here for you. And when I was walking around passing out snacks, the student was like, thank you so much for doing this. I was like, oh yeah, not a problem. And she's like, the college really does need to do more things like that. And I was like, yes, I agree. Thank you for letting me know, and I can share that information with other people and have it come back. And it was also really sad, because the next day, people were asking if we were doing it again, and I was like, oh, unfortunately we're not. As students were leaving as well, they were like, Jessica, are you doing this again tomorrow? I was like, no, it's just today. We just wanted to see how it went. But I think it's good to know for the future. And when we met up with my student leaders yesterday, we talked about the event, and 4 of them were able to go, and so we talked about it. And they're like, yeah, I think it should be a 2-night thing instead of a just 1-night thing.
Yeah. So definitely plans to do it again and to expand, right?
Yes, I hope so. And we'd like to have tutors or something of the sort if that's available, because I think that was another element the students said we're missing, if we could have tutors as well. I think that would be really helpful for them.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it was really exciting. I'm glad we were able to do it.
I'm so glad too. Very exciting. Thanks for coming in
Yeah.
and talking to me about this.
No, well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And I'm eLearning.